Hi everyone, this is Alicia, also known as AVP 60685. I'm sorry my voice sounds a little husky. I'm still getting over a cold. I still have a slight cough, so I'm trying to do this topic a little bit early. I've already done my monthly movie, which was about, sorry, not my monthly movie, my monthly book, which was about this guy who believes that his father was a Zodiac killer. I'm still looking for my monthly movie, so I'm going to check through what I have and say, okay, what's doable, what's not doable. In case you didn't know, today is Sunday, November the 11th, 2018. My name is Alicia, also known as AVP 60685, and I do weekly topics if possible on a variety of subjects. And if you're new to my channel, thank you for subscribing, and if you're not with the bell notifications, turn those on so you can get notifications of when I'm doing new videos and new topics. And so hopefully you guys will like this week's topic. So in case you guys didn't know, about a week ago on Tuesday we had an election in the United States, and it was very, very crazy. And so today's topic is about my memories of being an election judge and how I got started with that and why it's so important to vote. So let's get started with that, shall we? I am a registered Republican in the state of Maryland, and basically when I was 19 years old, my dad was working for an agency that was working on the machines, and they were making sure that the computers were running smoothly, and a lot of the voting machines were just electronic, and when you looked at people's information, it was in these large envelopes that were about this long, and you had to go through it by hand, and you would pull out people's names, and they were divided up by each letter of the alphabet. And so if somebody's last name was, say, Campbell, you would look up their name, verify their information, and then give them the card, and then they would sign it, and they would go get their voter card so they could get started voting. That was a very long process. Basically I had to wake up really, really early in the morning that day because it was not in my hometown, so I had to arrive with my dad over an hour away. We had to wake up around maybe 2 in the morning because it was over an hour's drive, and we had to get there early, set up everything, and they didn't give you any training, so basically you had to just learn. And they didn't pay you that much, only $125 an election, and so you had to learn very quickly on what to do. So the following year, for the election that is, my dad got cancer, and basically he couldn't do it anymore, but they needed Republican judges again. And so my dad said, no, I can't do it. My mom signed up to do it, and I signed up to do it. And this time the process was a little bit more easier. We didn't have those long envelopes anymore. We now had it all on like a small little tablet, and all the names were stored in there, and it's all electronic. And basically you can tell if somebody's at the wrong place. You can tell them all sorts of information on that one machine. And so that was fun. I caught on really, really quickly. I could do 5 people in the time it takes one other person, maybe one person. They can do one person in the time I've done 5 people. And I found out ways to reset the cards if somebody had gone to the wrong place, or if somebody put up the wrong name. I caught on very quickly to that. And then they started increasing the pay from $125 to about $150 to where they eventually got it to where it is now, where it's $200 for the regular judges such as myself, and you get $50 for training. And now it's all on the computer, and you can pull up anybody as long as they're registered to vote. And so if someone's at the wrong place, they can still vote, and you can tell them, hey, you're at the wrong place, this is where you're supposed to vote, and tell them the process. The reason why I say it's so important to vote, getting off with the election judge memories, because, like I said, that's all my memories of it, because I have a lot of memories of that. I've caught on really quickly, and I move very quickly on that, and I really, really enjoy that job a lot. I do that every 2 years. I just finished one, like I said, last week, and hopefully I'm finished for this year. But if there's any other elections between now and January, I'm still eligible to do it. But basically, I do it every 2 years, so I won't do any next year as far as I know. But if there's any elections that show up, I'm able to do that. And so some years I get a lot of elections, some years I don't get any elections, that except for two, the main ones, like the general and the primary ones, the ones in the early part of the year and the one in the latter part of the year, November. So, okay, so why do I say it's so important to vote? And why do people, and the thing that pisses me off when people say my vote doesn't count, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does. First of all, as an election judge, and one of the things that I do is 3 times in the day, I have a chief judge coming to me, or I will go to them, and I give them the count of how many people have shown up to come vote. I do that 3 times in the day. I do it once in the morning, once midday, and once toward the end of the night. Also, when we're closing up everything, I give them one final count. And basically with these 3 records from the morning, midday, and late evening, they're contacting the Board of Elections, letting them know this is the voter turnout for this area. And saying, hey, we have this number of people shown up, and this is how it's going. And I literally have to take those numbers because we have to print out it's like a receipt at the end of the morning. In the morning we open with one receipt, which shows that nobody has been in there at all. And then at the end of the night we open with another receipt, and it shows how many people have been there. I have a copy of a receipt that I accidentally took home from Tuesday's election, and it has the numbers on there. When people say my vote doesn't count and voting doesn't matter, it actually does. That's a lie when you say it doesn't count, because Maryland, the state where I live, is predominantly Democratic. And we now have a Republican governor because people came out and voted. And that has changed dramatically because of voting and because of elections. Now, just because I'm a Republican does not mean I'm a Trump supporter and everything he says and does. No. The reason why I go with Republican is because it normally lines up with what the Bible is saying. Not always. Does that mean I go with every Republican that comes around? No. What I do is, before any election is, I typically pray to God and say, God, help me have the guidance to find the right person to vote for, and please let this be as smooth as possible process. If the person that I'm voting for is doing what I want them to do, and I believe that they're going to do, then I vote for them. It doesn't matter if they're Republican, Democrat, Green Party, Independent, whatever. So, just because I'm a Republican does not mean I support Trump and everything. I support the party, not the person. But that doesn't mean I'm against Social Security being helping people or food stamps. I myself have a low income health insurance thing that I'm getting, and I'm a Republican. So to say my vote doesn't count and it doesn't matter, or you're just a Republican, you don't understand, you're just out for the rich people. No. I'm poor just like the other poor people are. Maybe not as poor as someone on the street, but I do struggle with income. I do struggle with finances. Just because certain things seem to be going in that party's favor does not mean it should be that way, because there is corruption on both parties. And I'm not saying it's because of the Democrats, I'm not saying because it's the Republicans. I'm just saying both parties are corrupt in their own way. I just go with one party that seems to be more biblically based. And that's why I do. And so that's some of my memories of being an election judge, how I got started with it, and why it's so important to vote. So my rant is over. If you're new to my channel and wanting to subscribe, please subscribe. If you're wanting any questions, comments, please post them in the comments. Turn on the bell notification so you can find out more about me. And when I post new videos, I try to post one at least once a week. And I will chat again next week. Bye.